Hello everybody, this is Mr. Rob and welcome back to episode number 8 of the Chicago Cubs franchise here on MLB The Show 22, and today the Cubs are going to go on a road trip starting off in Atlanta against the defending World Series champions who won the World Series last year over the Astros. They look a little different despite winning the World Series. Specifically, this man, Matt Olson, has been added to the Braves roster to replace Freddie Freeman. He's done pretty solid since coming over from Oakland, signed that big 8-year, $168 million contract. That's who we have to face off against today. But if you're excited for this road trip and Cubs baseball, make sure you leave a like and subscribe down below, especially if you want more franchise content. You guys seem to love the Cubs, and I love bringing you guys some Chicago Cubs. On the mound for the Braves will be Huascar Ynoa, who's made 4 starts this season. He's been perfect 3-0 with a 3.52 ERA despite a 1.43 whip through his 23 innings. Leading off for the Cubs today will be Nick Madrigal, who is riding an 8-game hitting streak coming into this one as we get underway in today's episode. 2-2 pitch to Madrigal, and he looks at strike 3 on the bottom side of the zone. Nice pitch by Ynoa, gets him out. Next up, Nico Horner takes a 2-1 slider into left field, where that one will be caught by Eddie Rosario. And we'll take a look at the Chicago Cubs lineup, who's currently sitting 10-13 coming into this one. We see Madrigal, Horner. It'll be Frank Schwindel, Patrick Wisdom, Seiya Suzuki, Ian Happ, who's been swinging a solid power bat, Rafael Ortega, Wilson Contreras, who's been hitting a nice 324 in his last 10 games, somebody to look out for today, and then Jonathan Villar as a DH. Schwindel up next will strike out, and that'll be how the first inning ends for the Chicago Cubs, 1-2-3. They'll send Wade Miley to the mound. He'll start off against the Silver Slugger from last year in Ozzie Albies. Don't know why I didn't show Wade Miley's card, but he is your pitcher nonetheless, and he begins his day with the second pitch going to the right field away from Seiya Suzuki, and the Braves have themselves a leadoff double by their second baseman. That'll bring up Dansby Swanson. 3-1 pitch to Swanson. He draws a walk, so Wade Miley puts the first 2 on. That'll bring up Ronald Acuna Jr. Tied for first for the Braves with 5 home runs this season. He grounds into a 4-6-3 double play, gets the 2 outs for the Cubs. Albies is on third base, so they need a hit from Matt Olson to bring him home. And on the 1-0 pitch, he grounds right over to second. Both teams scoreless through 1. Now, I am going to do this episode a little bit differently today in terms of format. Now, instead of showing just highlighting innings, I'm just going to kind of show you all the action from each half inning. So if you are in favor of this format, make sure you leave a comment down below. If you like the old format, let me know as well. If you like innings more than just highlights from each individual piece, your comments and preference is very much appreciated down below. So now we're in the top of the second inning. Cubs got 1 on board, but then they can't do anything with it as they go scoreless in the second. We'll go bottom 2 now. Austin Riley leading off for the Braves, of Silver Slugger from a season ago, begins the inning with a single into right field. That'll bring up Alex Dickerson up next. First pitch swinging. He's drilling one deep to right center. This one's got some carry, but Ortega will have that one, so he will fly out for the first out of the inning. That brings up Eddie Rosario. 1-0 pitch. Rosario hits this one into center field. Ortega once again over, makes the grab. So far, Braves can't do anything after the leadoff single. How about Adam Duvall? Full count. Rocks this one deep left center gap, but this one will also be caught. And both teams scoreless through the first 2 innings. Top 3, Wilson Contreras leads off and swinging that 324 bat in his last 10. And his hot streak continues here. A leadoff single in the third gets the Cubs a runner. Jonathan Villar up next, tries to check his swing on 1-2, but they say he went around. Got him with the strikeout. Back to the top of the lineup. Madrigal for the second time today gets called strike 3 on the corner. He don't like the call, but it's 2 outs regardless. Nico Horner up next, grounds over to second, so the Cubs can't do anything with their leadoff single as well. As we go bottom 3, Chadwick Tromp, the catcher for the Braves today, grounds over to third, and that will be an E5 as he throws Schwindel off the bag. Easy play from Wisdom, but instead he's going to give the base runner first. That brings up Ozzie Albies, 1 for 1 on the day. We saw him double to begin the ball game. Full count pitch. Ozzie Albies draws a walk. So now Wade Miley's got runners on first and second. Still nobody away for the former number 1 overall pick, Dansby Swanson. He singles into right field. 3 base runners reach, and now it's a bases loaded, no outs for Ronald Acuna Jr. Wade Miley, though, gets him on the circle change. Big-time strikeouts for the first out of the inning. How about Matt Olson? 1-0 pitch. Cutter popped up into left. Happ is over. He actually makes the grab, but he might have overrun it a little bit. And that allows the runner to tag, and the Braves strike first here in the bottom of the third, up 1-0. Austin Riley up next. 3-2 pitch. Single into center. Runners were going, and one run's going to come around and score. The second's going to round third, and I think they might have got him at home, but instead they can't field the baseball. A couple of blunders here from the Cubs in the field as they're now down 3-0. And here's a shot into the left center gap. Inning not over. This one is also going to be trouble. Rolls all the way to the wall. Runner on first, round and third. He is going to make it home safely, and the Braves have opened up a 4-0 lead here in the bottom of the third. Eddie Rosario up next. Not done. He's shopping right center gap. Runner rounds third, heads home. It's 5-0 Braves here in the bottom of the third. Wade Miley falling apart. Next batter, Adam Duvall, 2-2 pitch deep into center, but this one will be caught. But the Braves get a 5 spot here in the bottom of the third. Cubs going to the top of the fourth, trying to answer is with one away. Patrick Wisdom gets on board with a walk. That brings up Seiya Suzuki up next. First pitch swinging. He likes a slider, but is very early on it. And he hits it down the left field line. That's an easy catch for Eddie Rosario for the second out of the inning. That brings up Ian Happ. 3-1 pitch to Happ. He gets a high fastball, tries to turn on it, but this is a lazy fly to right for Duvall, and the Cubs can't answer in the top of the fourth. Bottom four, Wade Miley starts to settle down. He gets them to go down 1-2-3. Nice inning for Miley. Back up to the fifth with the Cubs, though. Here's a leadoff single up the middle for Rafael Ortega. So the Cubs getting some base runners, just can't do anything with it. How about Wilson Contreras? First pitch, likes it. Fastball right down the middle, drills it to left center, and this one's going to get up against the wall. Ortega's got some speed. He's going to round third, and the Cubs are going to get their first run of the ball game and chip into this lead thanks to Contreras' hot bat still, but it's 5-1 Braves. Next batter, Jonathan Villar. He can't connect on a low slider, so that'll be the first out of the inning. Nice pitch for Yanoa. Back to the top of the lineup, Magical 0 for 2 on the day. Gets a fastball, and this one will be caught in right. That's two outs. Nico Horner up next. First pitch in through the right side gap. Contreras is actually going to round third. He's going to head home, but he is going to be gunned down. The Gold Glove of Duvall gets him. Cubs only get one in the top of the fifth. Bottom of fifth now. The Braves once again go down 1-2-3, so Miley's gotten 6 straight outs in the past 2 innings. Fortunately for the Cubs, they can't do anything as well as they go down 1-2-3 in the 6th. And then bottom 6, Miley gets another 1-2-3 innings. So you take away his third, and Miley has actually pitched pretty well. Top 7 getting late in this ball game. Ian Happ gets plunked on the backside to begin the 7th. So he's on first base, and Ortega looks at a fastball, strike 3 down in the zone. Nice pitch again by Yanoa. He's had some good location today. Next batter, Wilson Contreras gets a little bit underneath this one, as that one's going to be out number 2 in the right center gap. And that brings up Jonathan Villar. 1-0 pitch to Villar. Fastball. Lifts it to center, but easy catch. And the Cubs still down by 4, running out of time. We're going to go bottom 7, where David Robertson will come into the game. So Miley goes 6 innings. Robinson comes in bottom 7. And just like Miley did the past 2 innings, he gets them 3 innings, he gets them to go down 1-2-3. Darren O'Day comes in the 8th for the Braves, as he's had a pretty solid season through his 13 starts with a 2.30 ERA. He comes in. First batter he faces Nick Madrigal, and he's going to hit this one up the middle. That'll extend the hit streak to 9 games as Madrigal finally reaches first base. Nico Horner up next. First pitch swing. Gets a fastball right down the middle, and he might have missed this one by centimeters. Nonetheless, first out of the inning. Frank Schwindel up next. He can't connect on a 79-mile-an-hour slider. That's a slow piece, but an out regardless. And then Wisdom perfectly times one into left field. That'll be a base hit. Trying to look for a 2-out rally is the Cubs. They got 2 on for Seiya Suzuki, who gets an 0-1 fastball, but lifts it to shallow left. Eddie underneath it. And the Cubs still down by 4. Bottom 8, Michael Givens tasked with conserving a 4-run deficit by a 4.50 ERA on the season. He gets the first 2 batters out, and he gets Austin Riley out. So the Braves actually never got a hit since that 4th inning. But it's A.J. Minter who's going to come in for the Braves. Not a save situation, so they're just going to turn it over to Minter. First batter he faces Ian Happ. 2-1 pitch. Lines it into left center. That'll be a base hit. So the Cubs get the first one on. It's one step at a time. How about Rafael Ortega? 1-2 pitch. Looks at strike 3. How many strike 3 lookings have the Cubs had today? That's out number 1. Contreras up next. 1-2 pitch. Circle change. Lifted. Deep center. This one's back. Acuna, though, has enough space. And I think they thought this one was going to get down. And they get doubled up at first base to end the game. Braves win unconventionally to end it 5-1. Now, a very weird game for the Cubs. Obviously, their offense was pretty much non-existent in this one. You do lose 5-1, and it sucks giving up that 5 spot. But if you take away that 1 inning, the Braves did nothing. They never had a hit since the 3rd inning. They had 6 all game, 5 runs on 6 hits, while the Cubs had 1 run on 9 hits in that 1 costly error. So remember that error. Miley actually didn't give up an earned run in this ballgame. Nonetheless, a loss for the Cubs. After this game, a trade went down. The Mariners acquired Marco Luciano from the Giants for Paul Sewald. And this is a very interesting trade because Luciano is an A potential prospect. So the Giants giving up one of their better farm pieces for a right-handed reliever in Paul Sewald, who is a good reliever, but at 31 years old, are you really willing to give up your top prospect for him? Interesting trade for the Giants. We lose game 2. Final score 14-8. There was no way around this one. This one was just bad pitching regardless. Despite a 5 spot in the 5th for the Cubs, they could not come away with the victory. Game 3, trying to avoid a sweep, and we're actually trying to avoid a walk-off here as we're all tied up at 3 apiece with Chris Martin on the mound. So we're going to jump into this one in the 9th inning, tasked with taking us to extras. And he starts off strong by getting Acuna Jr. to strike out. I'll bring up Matt Olson, 1 for 3 on the day, has homered with 2 RBIs in this one. A 1 pitch to Olson, pops it up into foul territory. Suzuki with a long run, and he's going to get underneath it. So 2 quick outs for Martin. And that brings up Austin Riley. 1 for 3 on the day. He's had a double. 1-0 pitch to Riley. And we have liftoff deep left center. This one is out of here. A walk-off shot for the Atlanta Braves. Austin Riley walks it off and sweeps the Cubs here in Truist Park. A bomb by Riley off of guess who? Chris Martin. I don't know what has gotten into Chris Martin this early in the season, but man, has it been a struggle for who's supposed to be one of our top relievers. That just shows you how bad our pitching has been to begin the season. We lose 4-3, and this one gets swept here against the defending champions as Martin won it in a 2/3 in that earned run and another loss. And we can't get it done against the Braves. Well, it's not going to get any easier as now we're going to travel to Milwaukee to face the Brewers for a 3-game set. And the Brewers sit 18-8 to begin the season, which is a lead in the NL Central. They're riding their solid pitching staff. This is one of the key pieces why. Brandon Woodruff, a .7 whip early on in the season. He's trying to make a case as an early season Cy Young frontrunner. Nick Madrigal leads off for the Cubs. His hitting streak up to 11 games now, but that's not going to help his cause as he strikes out. Horner up next also strikes out. So this is the stuff that Woodruff has had all year. Just nasty pitches. Schwindel does connect perfectly, though, to right field, and this one's going to get off of the wall. So we do get a 2-out double in the first inning. I'll bring up Patrick Wisdom up next, the third baseman. 2-2 pitch to Wisdom, and he can't connect on a 98 fastball, so Woodruff gets 3 strikeouts in the first. Once again, it doesn't show us our graphic, and Sal Frelick is actually going to be making his Major League Baseball debut for the Brewers today, a top prospect in their organization. We'll touch on him later as he strikes out in his first at-bat. Marcus Stroman is on the mound for the Cubs. Don't know why, like I said, they didn't show the card, but he is getting the nod today. He gives up a single with 1 out. And then Christian Yelich, though, grounds into a 4-6-3 double play. So both teams get nothing in the first. We'll go to top 2 now. 1 out for Ian Happ. 1-2 pitch, and he turns on a slider that caught too much in the middle of the plate. This one's hit to right field, and this one's actually going to leave the ballpark. Ian Happ gets the run started here in the second inning with a solo shot to right. And he has been swinging a very good power bat early in the season. This is already home run number 9 for the switch hitter as he gets the Cubs a 1-0 lead here in the second inning. Next batter, Rafael Ortega, turns on a first pitch. Curveball, drills it to right field. He's also trying to go yard. He doesn't quite leave the park, but he does get it down for a double. So Woodruff giving up a couple big hits here. Not accustomed to that this season. Contreras up next. We talked about his hot bat, 3-1 pitch. It's a lazy fly ball, though, to left field, so that'll be out number 2. That brings up Jonathan Villar, 2-2 pitch, high fastball, lifts it high to deep center, and this one's going to be caught, but the Cubs get one in the top of the second. We'll go bottom 2 now. Hunter Renfroe leading off for the Brewers, and he jacks the sinker. This one deep left field. Happ is going to run out of space, and the Brewers are going to tie it up. A solo shot for Hunter Renfroe off of Marcus Stroman, and that's his 3rd home run of the season. Goes 375. And the Cubs been prone to giving up the long ball early in the season. They give up another one here. We're back to square one, tied up 1-1. We're going to go to the 3rd inning now. Schwindel at the plate, 2 outs, turns on a slider, rips this one to the gap. This one's got some carry, and it's off of the wall in left center. So Schwindel, a 2-out double, trying to get a rally going for the Cubs, as that is his 6th double of the season. How about Patrick Wisdom? 1-2 pitch, high and inside fastball. He strikes out again. Bottom 3, Keston Hiura now at the plate for the Brewers, and he gets a nice slider that caught too much of the plate, and he jacks this one to center. Another solo shot for the Brewers, is just like I was talking about. We've been prone to the long ball. Hiura's 3rd home run of the season gives the Brewers now a 2-1 lead here in the 3rd inning, as both their runs coming by way of the solo shot. Staying in the bottom of the 3rd, Tyrone Taylor now up as he gets a pitch he likes, and he singles up the middle for a base hit. So keeping the inning alive as the Brewers going to the top of the lineup. Sal Frelick back up, 2-2 pitch, rocket over to first. Nice glove by Schwindel, but only gets 1. Colton Wong up next, 1-0 pitch, lifts a fastball to center. This is going to be an easy play for Ortega, so Stroman gets these 2 batters out. Despite some poor throwing, nothing happens. Christian Yelich up next, 2-2 pitch, and that's in the dirt. Runner going to go to second. He will. So now in scoring position thanks to the Stroman wild pitch. Later in the Yelich at back, full counts, and he swings through a fastball. So Stroman gets the next few out, but now the Brewers have the lead. Top 4, Seiya Suzuki leading off for the Cubs. Single into center as the Cubs work to try to get that run back. Ian Happ up next. Saw him go yard earlier. Tries to go other way here. Fly out to left. Easy catch made in left field by Tyrone Taylor for the 1st out of the inning. Rafael Ortega next. 1 for 1 on the day, but he grounds over to first, 3-6-3 double play ends the 4th inning. We'll go bottom 4 now with the Brewers, where Omar Narvaez has takeoff. A moonshot to right center. No doubt about that one off of the LED board over there. Another home run for the Milwaukee Brewers. Narvaez's 5th of the season, goes 410 to right center. And that's the 3rd straight inning where the Brewers have a solo shot. They extend their lead now 3-1. Top 5 now. Chicago Cubs back at the plate trying to have some answer for these Brewers home runs. They can't get anything in the 5th. Bottom 5, Stroman with 2 outs gets Wong to ground over to short. So finally the Brewers go down 1-2-3. Stroman doesn't give up a solo shot. We're in the 6th inning now as there's one away for Frank Schwindel, who draws a walk. That gets him on first base. Next up, Patrick Wisdom, ground over to 3rd though. We go around the horn to end the 6th. So the Cubs another big ground out to a double play. Bottom 6 now, Stroman stays in the game. Yelich leading off. He hits one into the right field corner, as that'll be a leadoff double for the Brew Crew, as Christian Yelich starting to get back to that 2018 NL MVP form. His 7th double of the season. And then Hunter Renfroe up next, sinker, deep center, and this one leaves the park. Another home run for Milwaukee. That's the 4th home run of the day for the Brewers. The 2nd on the day specifically for Hunter Renfroe, as there's the man on the slide. Extends this Brewers lead. All runs coming by way of the long ball. It's now 5-1 Brewers. Top 7 now. See if Cubs can start to make a comeback, as Seiya Suzuki has a perfectly hit single into center field. That one lands in front of Frelick. Next batter up, Ian Happ gets a 12-6 hanger, and he drills it to right. So despite a 2-home run game for Renfroe, Ian Happ decides to have himself a 2-home run game. 10th home run of the season for Ian Happ. He's got double digits, and we're still in the 1st month of the season. 398 to right. Happ gets 2 more. He's been all over offense today. It's now 5-3. Next batter up, Rafael Ortega, 0-2 pitch. Hits this one into left center. A good piece of hitting against the count, puts him on first base. And that'll do it for Brandon Woodruff. He gets taken out of here in the 7th, and Justin Topa will come on for Milwaukee, trying to stop this Chicago Cubs rally. He gets the first 2 batters he faces out, then gets Madrigal to ground up to middle, so Topa comes in and gets the job done, but the Cubs have chipped into the lead, now only down by 2. Michael Givens comes in relief here in the 7th after the stretch. He gets the first 2 down, and then gets Colt Wong to pop up to left. So Givens having himself a couple of highlight games in this one. We go top 8 now. Brad Boxberger will come in out of the pen for Milwaukee and has yet to give up an earned run this year in his 2 appearances. He'll be tasked with keeping that the same here. First batter he faces Nico Hoerner, reaches for a fastball and bloops it into left field. Nice piece of hitting by Hoerner. Frank Schwindel at next, 2-2 pitch. He can't connect on the slider. That's strike 3. Nice pitch by Boxberger. That brings up third baseman Patrick Wisdom. Has yet to get a hit today. And this one is back to the backstop. A high fastball by Boxberger misses everybody. And now the Cubs got a runner in scoring position. Thanks to the wild pitch later in the at-bat. Full count. Wisdom walks. Another pitch in the dirt. So now it's runners on first and second for the Cubs. They got forces at the bases though. But Seiya Suzuki's going to lift the fastball to right center, and this one's going to get down. Another base hit for the Cubs. They now have bases loaded, 1 out, and it is who you want at the plate, Ian Happ. The Brewers, though, are going to make a change. They're going to bring it over to Josh Hader, the 3-time NL MVP, who struggled this season. First pitch to Happ. He hits a circle change deep to left field. This one's going to stay in the ballpark this time. But it is going to be deep enough to tag the runs. So the Cubs get 1 back. It's now 5-4, and they still got runners on the corners. Now they are going to make a pinch hit here. Yan Gomes, they want the lefty-righty matchup, and they get a 3-1 count from Hader. The pitch. Gomes turns on it down the left field line. That's a base hit, and we have a tie ball game. The Cubs have rallied back down by 4 and tied this one at 5, and still have runners on the corners. Big time clutch hit by Yan Gomes. Next batter, Wilson Contreras, 2-2 pitch down the left side of the infield, but this one will end the inning. But the Cubs have tied it back up. We're back to square one, 5-5. We're going to go bottom 8 now. David Robertson comes in out of the pen for the Chicago Cubs, tasked with keeping the tie, and Jason Hayward will come in center as it was Ortega who got pinch hit for. 2 outs, base hit for Milwaukee into right field, so Robertson's got 1 on board. And he only goes 3 batters as now Rowan Witt comes in out of the pen for Chicago Cubs, making his 6th appearance on the season, also rocking a 4.50 ERA. His first batter is Narvaez, who has a pitch in the dirt, and that is going to send the runner to second. And now Narvaez has a 3-0 count. Narvaez, though, gets the green light on 3-0, and he hits this one deep to right center, and it's going to get down. Narvaez with a huge green light on 3-0. That's risky, but it pays off. The Brewers get the run, and they now retake the lead, now up 6-5. Luis Urias up next. It's a slider to right field that will be caught, but the Brewers have done what they need to do. They have gained the lead, and they're going to send it over to their closer this season, who is Devin Williams, not Josh Hader, but the 2020 NL reliever of the year, who has been perfect through 7 tries. He has 7 saves. It's Jonathan Villar to lead off the top of the 9th, 0 for 3 so far on the day. 2-2 pitch from Williams, and he swings through a changeup. Big strikeout by Williams. First is down. That says it's the top of the lineup, though. Madrigal, 0 for 4 on the day, has yet to extend his hitting streak. 1-0 pitch, pops up the fastball. This one will go behind home plate. That'll be the 2nd out, and Madrigal's history looks like it might die at 11. As the game is on the line, it's up to Nico Hoerner, who is 1 for 4 on the day. He has singled. Full count pitch to Hoerner. High fastball, can't connect. That will end the ball game. Strike 3, and the Brewers win Game 1 here in Milwaukee, 6-5. Despite the Cubs showing some late inning fire, their bullpen once more lets them down, and they drop Game 1, and their losing streak continues. 6 runs on 9 hits for the Brewers, 5 for 11 and an error for the Cubs. Hader gets the win, Robertson the loss, Williams the save, and the player of the game goes to Hunter Renfroe in his 2 dingers as the Brewers walk away with a hard-fought victory. It stinks that the bullpen just continues to give up runs. Game 2, we get destroyed 14-4, a 7 spot in the 7. So it's not just the play games. In the sim games, we're giving up an insane amount of runs as Hendricks got rocked in this one, and so did Smiley and Chavez. Another big trade goes down around the league, though. The Yankees and the Rays, AL East foes, making a trade as the Yankees are going to acquire Brett Phillips for the Tampa Bay Rays. They're going to give up a pretty solid piece to get him. They're going to give up reliever Jonathan Loaizaga, who is now the top-rated player in the Rays bullpen. A 78 overall, A potential. I think the Rays won this trade as Loaizaga's even having a pretty good season. Interesting trade by the Yankees. Game 3, we dropped 6-5 in 11 innings as 7 runs were scored in that final frame. So despite getting 3, we give up 4, and the bullpen again lets us down. This time it was Hire who blew the save and Chavez who gave up the final run. So that brings us to the end of April. We are riding a 7-game losing streak going into this one and now sit 10-18 at the bottom of the NL Central. And since the first month is over, I thought we'd go ahead and take a look at the April month recap, the first month of the season. I did see that was one of the suggestions in the survey I did a couple weeks ago, so I'm going to keep on doing these monthly recaps. We'll see how we did in the first month, as well as take our first look at scouting. So I hope you're excited for that one. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you leave a like and subscribe down below, especially if you want more franchise content. This is Mr. Rob, and I'll see you in the next one.